What's up, guys? Pikachu's cousin here. Got a NU battle against a guy from the Smogon Wi-Fi battle finder called RayandJesus. But it was a fun match. It was kind of short, but yeah, let's just roll it. And he's gonna lead off with his Weezing, which I thought was weird. I lead off with my Tentacool, and there's really nothing that Weezing can do to me at all. And so I'm just gonna set up the rain. And he goes for the Shadow Ball, I believe, and look at this. Look at this, that was a crit, and that did absolutely nothing. So now I'm just going to set up my spikes, because that's how I do with this Tentacool. I set up my rain, and then I set up my toxic spikes. And now that I got my second layer up, there's really no point in being in here, so I actually think he's going to switch. So I go for a Giga Drain to get a little bit of damage on whatever he switches into, but he switches into his Torterra, so it's not going to do much damage at all. But hey, some is better than nothing, right? Even though with his leftovers he gets some back, but with the poison it's kind of like it didn't happen, but whatever, fuck it. So I'm going to switch into my Ludicolo, thinking that he's going to set up the rocks. And unfortunately, as soon as I bring the Ludicolo out, the rain does stop, but whatever, that doesn't really matter. And I'm just gonna go for the Surf, and he switches into his Gorebyss. Excuse me, sorry. And this does a huge chunk. It does just over half. The Toxic Spikes really did help this match. I love those Toxic Spikes. It did so much because this is a modest nature choice specs Ludicolo, and it is just a fucking monster. But he's gonna go into his Hypno, and I'm gonna switch out because I don't want to get a T-Wave off on this, and I know he's specially defensive, so my Surf won't do that much. He does go for the T-Wave, and he T-Waves my Pinsir. I mean, that's not that good for me, but hell, I mean, it could be worse. So he switches out, and I'm pretty sure I just went for the X-Scissor. And he goes into his Rapidash, and it gets poisoned from the spikes, and the X-Scissor does just over half. I do get a crit, and that probably mattered, because it was a hefty chunk right there. But I'm going to switch out, because I don't want to get murdered by Flare Blitz, and I'm going to go into my Camerupt, and take the Flare Blitz. Sorry, I just had a sip of water right there. It still did a really big chunk, but with the Life Orb and the Toxic, it's dead. So that didn't really work out for him, and he's gonna go into his Weezing, and he switches out, and if he stayed in, he wouldn't have got any damage off on this this Marowak, because I don't know why I went for Earth Power, but for some reason I did, and it paid off, because it does over half, and with the Toxics, it does a little bit more. He goes for the Stone Edge, and that does take me out, and that's good for him. I mean, I don't like to just pwn people, you know, I like to have an even battle. But anyway, whatever. I'm going to go into my Ludicolo because I know I'm going to outspeed, and I'm going to go for the Giga Drain just to get some HP back. And he's going to go back into his Hypno, and the T-Wave is pretty obvious, so I'm going to go back in my Pinsir. And he does go for the T-Wave, and it doesn't paralyze me because I'm already paralyzed. And he's just going to get that Leftovers action, same with my Pinsir. And what does he do there? I think he goes for the Protect, and I'm okay with that. I do get the Para Hacks, but he's poisoned, so he's kind of just stalling out his poison. And that's a big ass waste of time in my opinion. He's gonna go for the Seismic Toss, and I didn't think that this would do much at all, and it doesn't do a whole lot. Pinsir, I don't know, he looks kind of heavy to me, but I guess he's not a heavy Pokemon. But I think he switches out here. No, he stays in and goes for another Seismic Toss. I guess he's really got nothing better to do. And I just want to get the X-Scissor off because I know it's going to kill him. Because they're not the best with the physical defense. And I do finally hit the X-Scissor and take out the Hypno. And he's going to go back into his Islander. And this is a bold max defense Pinsir. And that Earthquake didn't kill me, so I am able to get off a friggin' X Scissor, and it does over half, and that's really unfortunate for him. But I mean, I honestly thought that Earthquake was gonna do more than enough to kill me. But I'm gonna switch into my Braviary because the Earthquake is obvious, and I'm pretty sure I was like, all right, I'm gonna U-turn out into my Ludicolo and then just destroy the rest of his team with a Choice Spec Surf. And he switches into his Weezing. That's a good play there because the U-turn probably would have killed his Torterra. But I'm not worried about the Weezing. Even if he does try and like get a burn off on me or poison me or something, I'm still not that worried. Weezings tend to be physically defensive, so I thought that this Surf would kill him. But he does live it with a sliver of HP and go for the Shadow Ball. I'm not worried about the Shadow Ball because Ludicolo does have a good special defensive stat. So I am able to finish him off with the Surf. And he goes into his Torterra. I do outspeed and I finish off his Torterra with the Surf. And I believe that was his last Pokemon. So yeah, that was a really good game and it was a really fun match. Pretty short, but yeah. So anyway guys, peace out.